So here's another thing leading off all this income stuff. A couple days ago, I see a tweet on Twitter about Multnomah County has a job listing for $70,000 a year for a social media person.
Oh, I'm on it.
Yeah, so I was like, ooh, 70.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I click on it, and it takes you to the page for the ad or whatever you want to call it, and it's like, do you know how to tweet, and do you use Facebook? You can work for Multnomah County and blah blah. And it tells you all about it, and you're working for this Ted Wheeler guy. He's a county chairperson or whatever, and it's like it had this funky wording. So I sent it to Jenny, my wife, that works for the county, city, whatever. And I said, what does that mean exactly? And she wrote back and said, well, basically you're working for him just kind of on a you can call it like a contract basis or whatever. Not like 1099, but basically like you're almost like a temporary employee.
It's not a full-time.
And when that dude's chair runs out, you're probably going with him or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, yeah, that kind of sucks. But
yeah.
For $70,000.
I wonder how long does he have on his term still?
I don't know. Well, and I read into it, and it basically said you had to have experience in politics, and it seemed like it was a pretty high level position to me.
You needed a really good background in his line of work.
Yeah, so
you had
to have the background in PR work and politics, and then if you happen to use Twitter and Facebook and blog,
then you're right.
That's what they're looking for basically.
Yeah.
So, but the media got a hold of that and basically saw, can you use Twitter and Facebook? Well, then you can make $70,000 from Multnomah County by.
Oh, great! So now we look like we're this county that's.
So it like blew up nationwide, and people are like, "Oh, the Multnomah County, who is cutting jobs and cutting budgets and this and that, all of a sudden
kicking out their mayors and."
Yeah, now all of a sudden they want to pay some kid in a dark room $70,000 because he's on Twitter and Facebook. That's kind of what the media turned it into, and so they actually had to cancel. They came out and canceled the job posting and just said, "Whoa,
seriously,
this is that is not at all what we had in mind. This is actually a really high level position that we were looking for, but." You're right. This is probably bad timing. Whatever.
They put the wrong title on the ad. Basically,
yeah,
what they did.
You should.
Yeah, they should have just put marketing.
High level PR
marketing, high tech computer marketing experience necessary or something to that effect.
But nice. Like within 3 days, it was getting a shitstorm of news just all over the place. Mashable did a thing on it, and that's where I saw the follow-up. Like I'd seen it, and I sent it to Jenny. I said, "Oh, this looks cool." And I love my job, obviously.
Yeah.
But $70,000, I was like,
"Yeah."
Like
then,
do both. 2 days later, I get the follow-up ad on Mashable that was like making fun of it and basically saying,
"This is just a joke. It's not."
This is the only time we've ever quoted the Oregonian, and we probably never will again. But look at this, and they.
Do you think this? I've never even thought about asking this before, but do you think a social? We've talked about how Web 2.0, what it is, and then out of Web 2.0, it seems has created social marketing or social media outlets with Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, and everything's now internet based. Mm-hmm. Do you think this job's going to last forever? A social marketing guy. I mean, title companies hire him full time.
Yeah, it's just,
because eventually everything's going to keep evolving. Do you think this is a position now? If you were going to look at through history, it seems like there's always positions created as we keep evolving as a society. Is this? I wonder what the next thing would be, or how long this will last.
Hiring a marketing person that specialized in email marketing. That was 10 years ago. That was the big thing.
That was cutting edge, wasn't it?
It's the same thing. Those people are still around. Obviously, they just had to learn how to do some other stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So these people are going to have to.
So it's not a brand new idea. It's just really it's a marketing position that's just continuing to evolve. But what kills me is you get kids, like you said, a kid in a dark room who knows how to Twitter and do Facebook.
Making $70,000.
And he's saying that he's a social marketing guru when they have no marketing background at all.
Right.
And that, to me, is the misleading part, I think. I think it's two different types of titles.
Yeah,
a social networking guy.
Totally.
I'm a professional networker. I mean, I love to go network, but I don't think I can.
Well, now you like the Breakfast of the Champions thing that we're doing, obviously on the guest
keynote speaker. Sign up.
So it was.
I'm going. Do I have to pay for that?
Unless you can be my camera guy.
I'll just show up. I'm taping that. Oh yeah, we'll have that on the show.
You only have to pay if you want breakfast.
Okay.
But that was what they were like, well, who could we get to do this? And at first I didn't want to do it, but I said, if you're going to get anybody, get somebody that knows the stuff that you had to do 10 years ago. There's the basics, email marketing, or the basic postcards, all that crap
Yeah.
that is so old school now that everybody's
Learning to identify
making
your
fun.
market and your.
But if you've got to still know how to use that and take those basic marketing principles and put them into use, and use all these new tools around it, and that's your marketing plan. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
you do, obviously,
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah.
But the people that are coming out now saying, I'm a social media guru and this and that, they don't have those old
They have no background
basics.
at all.
Yeah, and so, they're like, yeah, I get business off Twitter, and I do this and that. And it's like, all right, but how are you implementing that into your marketing plan? And then they're just like,
See,
well,
I would like to
that
think,
is
what would
my
happen if
marketing plan.
Facebook and Twitter pulled the plug tomorrow? What would they do? Or what are, because I try to, we don't want to get on a tangent on it, but I always try to have a good 4 or 5 different outlets that are working constantly.
Yeah.
Between going to open houses or going to Twitter, or going to Facebook or our thing.
That's
doing
called,
on this.
that's called a marketing
That's
plan.
a marketing plan. Okay, so yeah, so I agree. I think the basics you need to always remember the basics or know the basics if you're gonna make it work. So.